Um,
Was that?
Do you have the audio on your computer?
And you must have unmuted it. Mute, yeah. Like you have to mute your microphone on your computer.
I think it's okay now.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Hello. That's me.
Yes, I can hear you.
So you, okay,
That's bad though. I just muted myself again.
yeah, so you say muted.
Okay.
Adrian, can you hear us?
This will handle this.
Okay.
Right. This is why I like ducked out of Zoom the last time I was here. I was like, it's not worth it. So this is fine. It says I'm muted now.
I guess
I
I'll-
see, oh, maybe this isn't picking up sound. The owl. The device known as owl.
Yes, I can hear you all.
Okay,
Oh, good.
perfect.
Just that maybe at some point it can be the device quality in this app.
Okay. I think we're good now.
So I can speak and that's all good.
Yeah,
Okay. That's confusing. We have a couple things in the chat. We just. Figuring, yes, okay. Yeah, so let's do our roll call, and we can just like get through this, since we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so. We'll start with, Ted. Present,
Present, vice chair of the committee, Ward 5, are we doing a question?
no, we'll just go through
It's
it,
August.
it's August, we're on break. So Paul,
Paul Morgan. Here,
secretary, Adrian's here, hello. So good to see you. Do we have Catherine? We have Pat present? I don't think so. Oh, I just saw you. Hello. Hi, good to see you. Say hello, you're here.
Hey, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Excellent.
Awesome. Alex Frieden, I did not see an Alex. Do we have Catherine? Catherine. And we're going to have Tom, he's just late. And we have Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Hello. And we have ex officio, we have Greg from Mobility. Hi, Greg. And we have Rashika as well. Hello. And we have a guest present here in person. Hello. Christopher Morris. Here from Somerville Times. Cool. And so it looks like we have quorum. And I think acting secretary, we've determined now is Ted. And also thank you to Ted for the meeting minutes. I was able to see that. I think Paul, you were also able to, so I'll make a motion to approve July's meeting minutes, seconded by
second,
Paul. Awesome. So everyone else, make your vote known. So yeah, we'll all sit with that. And I'm, whoop, Alex just joined. And we have Alex here. Say hi, Alex. We don't have anything cutesy going on. We're just saying we're here and checking in. Member of the committee. Hi. All right, so we're going to dive right into some exciting stuff where I feel like during the pandemic, it was really hard for us to have outreach events that got people together. And that was like a hard time for the committee because we weren't able to basically recruit new members and do things that brought the community into what the bike committee does and not just be a, committee that's just sitting in front of the city and not having fun. So I think it's really cool that, Paul, who is very, skilled and has led a bunch of like really cool rides and, is now on the committee and, part of the outreach engagement can be having, some rides and participating in existing rides as well. So, I have Paul here to talk a little bit about, some upcoming rides and then sharing some routes, for feedback. And if you wanna seize control of the computer, please do.
My computer's not working, so, she's generously sharing hers.
And should we share, I guess?
Oh.
Can I share the screen? Okay.
So I met with Assembly Connect, which is the TMA, Transportation Management, something, I don't remember what the A stands for, agency related to Assembly Square, charged with promoting, non-car transportation in the Assembly Square area. And the same firm that is the TMA for Assembly is also the TMA for Boynton Yards. So they're interested in partnering on some rides that focus on those two areas. And I'm also interested in promoting routes to those areas. So I've come up with a spreadsheet, which is a draft for 2025 and 2026 of rides that we could do.
Is it transit? Is that the name?
I will email you the,
Okay. We'll just call it TM.
the TMA, I think they're Assembly Connect, but I will email you that for the minutes. So, one upcoming somewhat soon that we could do would be a ride to Assembly on the day of Riverfest, which is a festival at Assembly Square. And for the Assembly rides, I have 4 ways that I've identified to get to Assembly Square with the current infrastructure. And this spreadsheet has links to most of these routes. In this case, this is the one that route that I'd be interested in highlighting for the Riverfest. And
Do you know when that, like, do you know when the fest is? roughly?
September 13th. So, this might, a lot of the details might be something that we want to go over in the outreach subcommittee. But the big picture is that there are 4 assembly rides here in 2025 and 2026, and each highlight a different way to get to assembly. And they generally are chosen to be on dates where there's something happening at assembly, or also in the case of Boynton Yards, where there's some sort of event at Boynton Yards. And that they would highlight infrastructure that's been completed in the last 5 years. To promote awareness of those, of that infrastructure. And then there are some. In this column, it says who's involved. There's Family Bike Ride is doing a large event at Halloween, which is just Family Bike Ride and Assembly Connect, although SBAC could sign on to it. And that is gonna be going, highlighting Mystic River Pass, including the new Clipper Ship connector. And those rides are typically in the 300 to 400 person range. And then we will also be next year having a ride, that's only in Somerville. So anyway, so there are some rides that we could do, and we'll discuss it more inside the outreach subcommittee.
Where, like, there are 400 people coming in and the group is going.
That would be for the Halloween ride, and that's the 5th time that event has been done, so. The counts are based on prior years.
So in what ways could, so in what ways, like, can we move to get involved?
So this Riverfest ride is
Yeah.
coming up,
Yeah,
next, 4 or 5 weeks from now,
yes,
so. That. Um. Having marshals is helpful for that, maybe I can just pull that map up.
Oh, I know we
Yeah.
did.
These would be like community rides more so than like
Yeah,
kids focused.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
not, the spreadsheet says who's involved, but this one is not.
Yeah.
Not a family of rent, I mean, families might choose to go on it. but
Right.
It's not being marketed that way. And it's less conservative than,
Yeah,
so, but. Yeah, Marshall's, advertising strategies, so, I don't know. It's too late to get in a mobility newsletter. I don't know when the next one would be, I think one just came out
Yeah, we should do one at the end of August.
at the end of August, okay. So we could get in there, we don't have our own email list, right, we have some social media.
yes,
So,
but if is this part of another existing thing, or would this be like a standalone? Like, would it be trying to get other people to come on this? Or would it be,
well, this would be open to the general public and we
Yeah.
wanna advertise it as a social ride that anybody, could go on to, and go to Riverfest, which would be fun, and also explore like a way to get to Assembly Square, because that's a question a lot of people have. Oh, how do I get over there? And, hey, this is first in a series of 4 or more rides that will show you different ways to get there, and, so it's sort of a public interest.
It's new infrastructure.
yeah,
Pretty much.
we'll just leave it on Middlesex, and there's like other efforts in that assembly area to make it more livable and, you know, people oriented. Yeah, I really like the idea of aspect sort of doing a ride, and I know that there's definitely interest in how to get to assembly. Can you?
I have my own ways.
You have your ways, but, yeah, I don't know, what does everyone think? Anyone on Zoom have anything to say? I just wanna make sure I see you guys. Is there anything that we'd like to see in an SBAC ride, or? Wanna really, we can just, do we wanna try for this? Like, do we want to try to do something for Riverfest? Sure. And then I guess, like you said, you could discuss with what we would need with the subcommittee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the idea of like helping to promote Riverfest and this ride. I'm curious, is there like a meeting afterwards, like at Riverfest, where we'd be talking about SBAC, or like at the beginning of the ride, just like a promotion or any like engagement with the riders, or is it just kind of like, here's a ride, we're going to show you like infrastructure and how to get to Assembly Square in a good fashion, or a good, on a good route? Or there'll be like engagement, or I don't know, posting up together at Riverfest, hanging out. Would there be like an idea about that?
Those all sound like good ideas, yeah,
I see Catherine has.
Yeah.
Oh, you have your
I'm
hand up?
kind
Yeah.
of, I'm kind of the mind that, I, as a member of the public, appreciate when there are events. There's a community events and there's a group who's like, we're going to be biking there. Join our ride to get there safely on bikes. If you are someone who might be a nervous biker but is curious, and this is like a really good excuse to try it, I feel like um, it might be too much. It might take away from Riverfest if we try to make it an infrastructure tour. I think that will happen organically. And as for afterwards, I think it is a good discussion of like, oh yeah, that corner was kind of tough, I know. Or like that street was so pleasant and we saw the herons on the Mystic and that was so nice.
Yeah, I think like, a brief mention of who we are that's putting on the event, we're at SPAC. Just introduce the name of this committee to whoever's coming. And yeah, I don't think, it's not a. We wouldn't be, it's not like a DVD commentary of the route.
If you were interested in having like a table starting at Stratton Field, if you wanted to have like a table set up there, we could see if the city, like if DPW might be able to provide a table and then pick it up once everyone's left for the ride. That was of interest to have like some kind of materials to talk about the committee.
Where were you thinking of starting?
Trump field,
Somerville.
but that also could be discussed with the outreach committee.
Yeah, so just let us know if that's something that you're interested in, and we can see if
Okay.
we have any resources that we might be able to provide.
So your meeting is,
What day is it? I'm trying to find it.
We might have to,
you didn't schedule one.
I don't know if we have one scheduled,
Oh, there it is. I finally scrolled down.
Alright, well,
but I'll email the outreach committee and.
Simply a ride back. I always personally find that I end up coming back from assembly with a different route than I go.
Oh, you do?
So
Oh.
would there be a ride back?
yeah,
I mean,
out and back, we could advertise it explicitly as an out and back. No one left behind, no drop.
Yeah, I think there could be there'll be some attrition. But yeah, there could be a run back.
Oh, is that the same day as the Gilman Arts Festival? We have divided allegiances.
within the same city.
Yes. I have it in my calendar. I don't know if it's exact.
Are they at the same time?
It's a good question. The Riverfest is all day. Starting at 11 into the night. They do fireworks, right? And I saw
Saturday, September 13th, 12 to 5. Well, we might consider some festival hopping. We can come up with a route.
I was just gonna say, if there was something to do in the end.
Yeah,
because the
Yeah.
mobility is tabling, right, at the Gilman.
Maybe we could work something out.
yeah, okay.
That could be cool, but I think we should try for it. So whatever, it would take, if we wanna meet outside or whatever, to try to, make it worth the table and have a table and, have a ride and bring people to a, festival that maybe one wouldn't wanna bike to alone. I don't know, I feel like you could look back on if there was recording for all the SBAC meetings I've ever been at, I always slander. I always slander assembly, but it's like an honest fear, it's like, I just like want nothing to do with it. So the fact that we've been focusing on Middlesex Ave and all these like rides to assembly, I know that Joan Liu, who's on SAS, like forged ahead and was like, I'm just gonna do like a Costco run or whatever, somewhere to assembly and like banded together some people. So I'm not alone in feeling like it's a little bit of a hostile environment, but all this stuff like Middlesex Ave and everything is making it better. So I think it's cool to highlight, and be like, yeah, assembly is a human space if we can get there.
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's not as much of a challenge as people think it is, so.
I've been doing a lot of this route since like
It's like
10 years
this
ago,
part,
yeah.
it's scary, like you, this.
There's actually other ways I can suggest.
Well, I
We'll
have-
talk about it later.
Well, I have four different routes, like,
Yeah.
this is just one. But I have 4 different ways, and there's, yeah.
Alright, so more discussion with outreach, maybe we can, with the extra planning meetings, tabling of materials, I think. Catherine started asking about like SBAC identification. We do have tabling materials, I have no idea where they are right now.
We talked about making buttons, like
Buttons, we were in the
like
button
ask me,
maker.
I'm from
We-
SBAC or
I know,
something
we
like
were
that,
in
but we haven't done it yet.
He's would lend us their button maker. Kat is raising their e-hand, Zoom hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say on the promotion standpoint, I think end of August was our drop dead timeline to see if we could figure out our Instagram password. We haven't figured that out, so I think in September we are going to officially launch a new Instagram for us all, and I think that's just another way to
If
advertise.
somebody can do that,
Do we
it's
know?
far easier than trying, they get
You know,
weird.
the administrator on the Instagram account?
It's like ancient and weird, it's best to just start a new one.
Yeah, I'll start
There's
new and
nothing on it that needs saved.
I'm a follower.
it has like 600 followers. Like it's sad to lose that, but I think we might just have to
Well, it can
accept it
stay,
as a
but we
sunk
can
cost.
do a
But just
different
saying
one.
that's and happy to run that once we get that set up. So there's sort of a using this as the springboard, saying if anyone wants to take a last ditch appeal and knowing where that is, let me know. But otherwise,
Yes, we just weren't that Instagram-y. We weren't that social media.
You set it up?
yeah, just don't ask me to run the
That's what you
TikTok.
did.
That I will not do. I will let
No. The blue sky, so, I don't know if we wanna move on to, oh, Patriot. 973 followers, okay, fine, we'll get to the bottom of it, Kat, we will find the password, we'll do it for the 973 followers. Okay, so I do wanna make sure we get to our kind of little lengthy laundry list for Somerville Ave, so I think we've got like a good thing cooking here. Outreach engagement will cook it further. I think we're all on board to do what we can to make it happen, so.
Great.
Does that sound good? Is there anything
Yep.
else?
I'll turn the wheels.
Back over. Cool, so. On the little, I'm gonna see okay, so look how cute. Can I like start the slideshow without ruining everything? Whatever, so.
In our blue uniforms.
I think it's good. You guys were all wearing blue. Okay, so, we're moving on to the, eval engineering portion of the agenda where, this is where we sort of, do the advising part of the Somerville advisory, like advisory committee role. And so there's a Somerville Ave Crystal project going on. I don't know. So here's my thing. I don't know. If we have like slides for the project, because
Slides, but you give comments, I can.
we
pull up
have we have our list. I just feel like it might not be as exciting to just like go down the list and
I could,
if there's some visual.
share the,
So, like,
I think it's a good reminder for everybody to just pull up the project slides.
wait, I think I did share.
They were,
Before we move off of the outreach, last month. There was a discussion about a potential Junction Park, event. And,
right, we wanted to know when it's gonna open, yeah.
I don't have an update on that. I think what's online is the latest information that we have. I know there's a question from the committee about food donations and whether that would be okay. So the update there is that shouldn't be an issue. So if the committee decides to move forward with that event and wants to talk to the coffee shop there, then I think by all means. And yeah, we will, if we hear anything about Junction Park, I believe online it has said summer, is that?
Can you?
Did it say late summer or something?
Let me see.
What do we need?
If I was gonna share the project slides.
Oh, I'm gonna stop. Do you,
Yeah, I can invite you to join as a panelist, so you just have to accept the.
Cool, I've been promoted. Awesome.
Yeah, we had said that it would be on September 17th. I'm wondering if having an event on, what was it, the 13th for Assembly Row and or also like 2 events maybe that day might be a lot, like for the month or for us to all split our time amongst. And if we don't know when the park will be done, I haven't walked over there in a little while, so yeah, I'm okay like punting it if we want, like maybe to October or something. But yeah, I can't remember what we said last month.
I think if Somerville Junction isn't done, we just go to Lowell Street, because there's enough space that you can get off the main path and not be in the way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, right next to the bike station, I think you guys set up.
Yeah, or under the bridge.
Yeah. All right, Somerville Ave, I know. It's a very exciting site visit earlier this week, so talk about that if I can. Zoom around here. There's over there, fire. All right, Somerville Ave. This is what happened in
Too many times.
too many times. Yeah.
there you are,
No, it's Middlesex.
Ah,
but
there
it's
we go.
down, it's under there. Oh, okay, I see. The Somerville is underneath the Middlesex page.
All right. Lots of words. Okay, so. As imagine, this is broken up into several project areas, starting roughly at, the Davis Square end. And extending, as Elm connects and turns into, Somerville Ave, and all the way down to Bow Street. Minor, currently in high crash area. So limit of the work, okay. Project timeline, summer 2025, so it looks like the initial design development is slated to begin fall. Need time for. So. Current conditions. Anticipated layout. Buffered by lane. What it could look like. So, we're thinking signal and crosswalk improvements, as well as bike lane improvements.
So yeah, so we, Amanda, Paul, Tom and I did a ride, from the start, in, what is it, Wilson Square, the unknown square. Sometimes you just find squares that you didn't know existed. So we started at Wilson Square. We biked down, we stopped and had a couple of points of interest along the way. And so Tom did a nice job of, kind of organizing notes and, kind of, if you can find like on the map or something, like kind of what we're talking about, because we just sort of started, if you want, basically, we're very supportive overall. One big issue that we came up with that we all agreed are cars entering the door zone bike lanes to get around left turning vehicles, like duck into the lane and like just kind of do that automatically and not look. I've had that happen to me a lot. So physical separation, that is what's being proposed, is like we're excited for that, and kind of support that. And just like, we will say that the timeline is a little bit, sluggish for a quick build, especially when, Holland Street, which is what is compared with, happened at a good pace, and there's not, that much parking that's being removed. So it is basically realigning the parking. So we do feel that the timeline could be in any way possible ramped up, and just looking for any opportunity for that to happen quicker. And so we just highlighted some problem spots, double parking near Cambria Hotel, lack of crosswalk and crossbike near Percy Way, and bike left turn from Laurel Street on the Somerville Ave, and then the Market Basket driveways. So, note from the site visit there, you can kind of see there, so the question for SBAC, and I'm wondering if this would be helpful if we could get a map up. Yeah. So right outside the car wash,
First one was, I think, the Prestige, right?
yes. And so it's a very long curve cut because it's the car wash, and it wipes away the bike lane paint every 4 months. So a question is to the committee, and rapid, reactions. Assuming there is buffer space, would a curbside bike lane buffer be preferable, or having a buffer near the curb? And that was,
Evidence of the removing things from that.
It really does.
Lena, can you restate that question? Sorry.
the question as it was written there. Maybe you can put it up there.
So the first issue from the site visit is beginning at the Prestige car wash. And the question was, assuming there's buffer space, would we prefer curbside bike lane buffered from moving vehicles, or having the buffer near the curb?
And that's because at Prestige, all the traffic exiting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because of all the exiting. are-
exiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there other material options here? So like some of the armadillos we've talked about before that make it slow down the vehicles, but things can still drive over it.
This would be a great spot for that. I don't know if the city has thought of that.
What is the current proposal for this? Like,
There is no proposal yet, so at this
This
stage
is
of the
before
project,
it?
so we have no design.
uh,
At this stage, we have just been gathering feedback on, like, identifying
Gotcha.
issues, and so if there are certain treatments that the committee is interested in the city exploring, we would definitely be interested to hear that.
So I guess, what makes folks more uncomfortable biking there? Is it the flow of cars pulling out of the car wash, or is it more being close to traffic that at that particular segment of Somerville Ave can be somewhat higher speed, right? Because you have the light at Wilson Square, right at the Cumberland Farms, and then the car wash, so traffic can start moving and often does speed up if people have been stopped at the light, particularly if they've just made the left from home onto Somerville Ave.
Well, currently it's the traffic on some of the lab, not the cars pulling out.
Yeah.
But if you moved the lane closer to the cars pulling out, then maybe that would suddenly become
Right.
a risk.
Yeah.
Is it, would these be flex posts or what is this lane gonna be?
So for this project, it's quick build materials, so flexible things, it could be flex posts, the like the armadillo Zipla type treatments that we've used in Assembly Row in some places. Those are also quick build materials, so we have a couple of different types of things that we can that are within our I guess portfolio of treatments that we could use. But at this stage, we haven't identified what that is. So yeah, very interested in hearing, you know, if there are certain treatments that the committee has seen and likes and is like would fit well in certain places on this street.
I'm just kind of wondering, like, thoughts about where you place them when there's like a giant curb cut, like. Put them. Cause they have to go through, right? Where you have posts.
So, yeah, another thing I would be, I don't know if they make reflective armadillos, just because this segment of Somerville Ave doesn't have streetlights, so it could be dark for both cyclists and for cars pulling out from the, I don't know how late the car wash, so.
I wonder how PTAC feels about this, because like, for the bike lane, we'll at least have the sidewalk as a buffer. So, like, you know, whereas if you're a pedestrian walking and if those cars are like right on the sidewalk, they could suddenly start moving. And they're right there.
And you don't necessarily need to like identify a specific thing that you want to see in this location, but if, you know, if the committee has done the ride and is in general, the feedback is like, can we see if we can get any kind of separation or protection at this curb cut, then I think that's a valuable piece of feedback, even without getting into the like specific treatments.
Okay, cool, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's a pretty clear issue area, issue area, it's just a giant curb cut with many cars coming out of it. So it's hostile by nature to this,
Sounds like, in short, the
Yeah.
consideration here is the tension between wanting protection both from the traffic and also from the cars pulling out of the cars.
yeah, it looks like we've got hands up in
But it seems-
Zoom.
Seems like once you get the flex posts, you're not as concerned about the traffic anymore. Maybe.
Yeah.
Also, a treatment that can stand up to the back of this segment of bike lane is also kind of wet usually from the car
All
wash.
the
And
clean cars.
paint can actually get slippery when it's eroded away.
Does,
Yeah.
So it looks like we have Catherine in the chat, with the hand up, or in the Zoom.
Well, so,
Thank you.
so for that whole section there on the screen, there won't be any flex posts because the cars have to get
that's
out.
what I was
Yeah.
wondering, like, can we
So
put any?
that's just moving the lane closer to the sidewalk, but no other change.
Well, I was just gonna add that-
We don't know yet, because we haven't designed it yet. So. Yeah, we're not, I guess, can't comment on
Yeah.
what we might be
It's a
able to
tough
do here.
spot. We've got your your list up, and so we've just started at the car wash to orient you, and welcome to the meeting, Tom.
Great, thank you. And yeah, I guess the perspective is that, we're calling kind of earlier, than we've done doing this, so there's not really specific to react to. But also kind of greater opportunity to shape this hopefully.
Well,
So
I was
I
gonna
guess,
add,
yeah, Catherine.
somebody posed earlier, which is less uncomfortable, the car outside or the cars in the street side. And I would argue that it's not even the actual cars coming out of the car wash, it's just the idea that they could. And so the whole time you're going through there, you're like kind of bracing and like really trying to scan the scene. And even if there are no cars actively coming in or out, which to be honest, I don't find to be that big of a problem. It's just the opportunity for them to do so. And like as a rider, you are just bracing yourself the entire time you go by there. But I don't find like the amount of cars that come out of there or into there as I'm going by to be that big of a problem. And that doesn't impact the way we design, but my 2 cents.
Also, almost be able to summarize while I project the pictures and the comments. To both take notes and
Yes.
Yeah,
Alex?
Catherine, everything you just said, that's, I don't know what to do here because it's kind of that, I don't know, in 15 years of riding through this section, I've never really had that big of a problem with the cars coming out. It's just kind of the two-way that you can get squeezed either way, and there's cars trying to make the turns, going around cars that are making turns. There's just a lot going on, but I don't know what we would do here that's a step change and improvement.
Yeah. I think in the dream world, right, there would be one defined entry and exit point for the car wash. Just so that as a rider, right, you would be like, okay,
Yeah.
similar to how like in Market Basket, it's also chaos, and that is a place where
We'll
we
get
do
there.
see. I know, but I'm saying like that is a place where you do see
Yeah.
a million cars coming in or out. But like I know it's at this distinct spot and at this distinct spot. There's one entry, one
Yeah.
exit. And here it's like that entire stretch. And I'm like, oh, it's all an opportunity zone. I know that we
yeah, I
can't
mean, a speed bump might be one
property.
option, but
A wider sidewalk. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, it's
It's
not
a-
even a legal
I guess
sidewalk.
what I was
It's
thinking,
like
I was
a
thinking,
smooth
it's-
sideways.
That's not a crazy idea here. To do a
Well,
wider sidewalk so that you could be a shared use.
well, I was gonna say like, yeah, a wider sidewalk, and then also I think it's not so much the exiting cars, but the proximity to moving cars to your left, like you're still in a painted bike lane, so it might even just be you're actually feeling pressure from like feeling like you need to be further away, closer to moving cars to your left to avoid being close to the ones that may come out, so it might just be the being in a door zone bike lane, like being in a bike lane, that's painted. So I don't know, I think that might be, Tom, you said like buffer space, like could buffer space there at least make you
Typically
feel
pull out-
safer? Like, but how could you do that? Cause it's just one giant exit, you can't do it. I think wider sidewalks maybe.
So I would say within the scope of this project, something of what you might be able
Yeah.
to do, and you could look at Washington Street, maybe Somerville near Sullivan as a comparable example. Where there's also a car wash and there's like quick build protected bike lanes on some nearby sections. And basically it is just bike lane and kind of what you definitely can do is if you have the space, you have a little bit of buffer. You could put that between the bike lane and kind of where parking would otherwise be, or you could kind of swap that out or use it different ways.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think with the unstable connection, the one issue I have is the cars creep forward very much, and so depending on how close to make sure they can make that. So I really think it's just like if you put it directly next to the sidewalk, I think especially the larger cars, like their hoods would be into the bike lane. And that's, in my mind, that's actually less the issue than a bike lane, a bike coming out in front. Sorry, a car cutting out in front, but more of just they'll naturally have to creep and encroach into that space in order to make sure they're exiting safely. And so I think it might be even worth, I don't know if you guys saw the cars, how far they come out, but in my experience, that hood is well into the street by a foot or two before they make that turn, left or right. I don't have another solution.
Generally, more than one speed cars pull out of there kind of quickly. Just because they see an opening in Somerville.
And this part is typically not that backed up. You know, I thinking about like the treatment that's on Gore Street, which is a shared use path on the sidewalk. I like the idea of extending the sidewalk out because, you know, they poke their heads out, and if you have it, as long as you have enough space, you can kind of go around them here. I don't know if others are like that kind of treatment. And I know that's out of scope for something like quick build, but
I know that that would be safer, but I will selfishly say that I do like going, I don't know, like kind of fast on this and like just booking it. 'Cause it's like it's so straight.
Yeah.
And unlike Gore Street, which has all of those perpendicular streets where you have traffic coming out, you have to kind of like, always stop, check if there's someone coming. The car wash is chaotic, but at least you can see it as opposed to like a 90-degree street coming in. So selfishly, I do like booking it down this stretch.
I do the same thing.
That's why I like these projects on these main roads where like you just wanna like get where you're going and you can go straight, you can go quickly, you can get there quickly, straightforward. But safe and protected. I think, yeah, that's a tough spot, just in general, what are you gonna do, right? Like, so I don't know if we have moving down, yeah, or Lowell Street. Because I think in the presentation, the city's presentation, there was a question about, options for traffic signals that exist and maybe don't need to exist or could be modified. So there was a slide that was possible safety improvements, signal changes could include more green time different phasing. Some signals may not be necessary to be removed. But at Lowell Street, there you are. The question was, how do we feel about the traffic signal at Lowell?
Is this where
Both side to side,
there's
it's just.
Sacramento
it's
Street
just,
on the other side?
Like,
Yeah, I moved a little too far, so there's the stop marker.
And we have Sacramento on the other side. Is this where we are?
it's like the T, yeah,
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah.
that's the little
Sacramento.
bridge, that's a little underbridge.
Yeah, Sacramento.
So it's kind of like, or not necessarily remove the signal, maybe that's not what they meant, but also just like make it so that bicycles could proceed straight. Like.
I mean, they already do in real life.
Yeah. Agree.
I know.
Legalize that behavior.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm just very much like, I wish certain T intersection, like, it's very much T intersections that I.
Yeah.
Will sort of feel like I could proceed through
Well,
safely without
that was-
causing any mayhem and.
I do the same thing.
Well-
Big safety bill, like 5 years ago. The same.
So, is it I mean, it's actually a good question, so in the presentation, and I'm gonna ask, I guess. When you say like the signal, or when this slideshow, what the city says, the signals might not be necessary, could be removed, is it that it wouldn't apply to bicyclists anymore, but it would stay for drivers, or would you actually just like take away the entire signal for everybody?
So if a signal was removed, and I think that what that is getting at is evaluating whether signals are warranted in certain locations, and there are a number of different criteria that go into a signal warrant. It could do with volumes or speeds or things like that. So I think that point in the slide deck was just that it may be within the scope of our project to evaluate these signals to determine if they are warranted, and if in some places they are not, then we could consider if there are other treatments that we think would be more effective than like a red, yellow, green signal.
Yes. I think even just bringing it up, there's a little bit of a consensus that people kind of go anyway.
Maybe evaluating,
Like how many people,
maybe evaluating if you could do something like a bike sees pedestrian signal here. When
So, I'm not sure I'm totally understanding. So are you saying this is an area where there's a lot of red light running? Is that the
Yes.
feedback? So vehicles running the red light at,
Or
no,
no, cyclists,
Cyclists.
it's a T intersection,
Yeah,
and if you're going straight on the bike,
Stop.
cyclists tend to not stop.
okay,
Because you only have
There's
the
no-
code there.
So in that sense, it's sort of like,
If there's no-
it isn't there,
If no pedestrian, then there's not really a reason for the
yeah,
cyclists to stop. Because they have no interaction with the car.
Yeah, so I think my suggestion would be to have a way to kind of legalize that movement that I think in practice a lot of people do. Letting a bike do a straight on red. I know there's precedents from like Paris, for example, having specific signage. Like a big bike straight on red, where it's like to be yielding pedestrians. I don't know if there's an MUTCD way of expressing that, but I think something designating that and legalizing what people likely do anyway, and giving the opportunity to distinguish other intersections where people shouldn't do that.
On Soldiers Field, there are definitely bike use pedestrian signs. Definitely one.
Those are on kind of off-street paths,
Yeah,
but on here, I think those would imply that if somebody biking should not follow the green light,
yeah.
which I think is not quite the case here.
I could be wrong, but I think that this location is this only red when the pedestrian signal is on to cross Somerville Ave?
That might be the case,
I
because
think
Little
it's-
Street is one way northbound.
I think it's only red when there's a pedestrian or when it's triggered by the fire department there.
In which case, I think it could be difficult to argue because it's this light only exists for pedestrian crossing. To allow cyclists to like
Kinda
legalize
the one
running
on
the red light.
Holland, right, the one that goes across from like the dog park on Holland Street,
I don't
it's
think,
like activated, but it's full on.
Yeah, another example later might be, is it Beach Street or one of the other like streets further along with a relatively low volume traffic signal that probably, barely meets the warrant, if it even does meet the warrant for a traffic signal. That might be a clearer example.
Yeah, so I think so, is the feedback. That you are supportive of like evaluating these signals to
yes.
determine whether they are warranted.
Evaluating them for, yeah, if they're warranted, and if they are to remain, to consider a way of formalizing that a bike can proceed straight on red. The equivalent of a vehicular right on red, but don't be straight on bike.
And then we moved down to Belmont Street, where we called out a specific issue is that, we're going to go to Belmont Street. Ooh, basically, to get from Spring Hill to access the businesses, but there isn't a crosswalk customers allowed. At Belmont, right?
It's a
So,
long way to walk
yeah,
to get over to like
there,
Forge.
which is a destination. And I know that there is a crosswalk treatment going on at Central Street too. So it's good to recognize the need for those, but there's still more need. As we do like, as we again want to make it easy to cross the street and go to Forge or go to Union Square Donuts in Bow Street, which is gonna be great. So yeah, people will, I don't know if that's a PTAC thing, we could use PTAC or see how they feel about it, if they have any existing recommendations.
Yeah, but I think
Or
rather, it's
just-
kind of tossing that in there,
Yeah.
you know, noticing that pedestrian angle, missing crosswalk here and the desire line.
Yes,
You know, dense residential Spring Hill and all the businesses right down here.
it's been a slope at a crosswalk. And then where else do we do? Where did we pull over? Market basket, is that next? This is the Tom special.
And
Westbound bike lane near floating bus stop.
Oh, yeah.
kind of along with, I think some will, would probably focus on a lot and some will kind of,
We made our way down, that makes sense.
but yeah, definitely interested in thoughts on the floating bus stop.
At Cambria.
Yeah, no,
No, that's the other
that new building with the sidewalk level.
Yeah,
lane.
left there.
Yeah, that
near
one.
Spring Street. And so we previously discussed, them biking westbound. And on Street View, I think you can see kind of under construction here, when biking westbound, it's a somewhat sharp angle, to go from the door zone bike lane into the floating bus stop. And the railing, not yet built here in Street View, is at an angle that I think some people have concerns about, some people are fine with.
So, right, in the new construction, in the quick build though, the parking all go away and it becomes real straight here, right?
Yeah, we think it'll be better.
Exactly, yeah. So we're hopeful that by, this project will presumably be biking next to the curb. That will straighten the approach and we think mostly resolve the issue.
Yes.
So for me, it was kind of me reacting, just kind of re-emphasizing like, you know, I know occasionally your projects don't always follow the curb everywhere. So this is definitely an area where we hope it will be exactly the curb and have a very straight approach.
No, that's a great point. They need the can't be parking there. It has to go bike lane against the curb.
Yeah, so then further down to Central Street. Which has a separate project going on there for a crosswalk improvement, a raised crosswalk. Right now there's kind of there's a crosswalk there. It's very faded, and yeah. That's going to be great, yeah, here, and
Oh, one more.
oops, one more down, yeah. Keep going.
There's.
Yeah, so there's a little sign there, but, there's a lot of drivers, like the way that the Park Street, at least in my, this is my anecdote, the way that the, Park Street traffic comes up. It can make a constant stream of traffic that's difficult for a bicyclist or even another driver to turn left to go up Central towards Highland. And so. It's still kind of like the honor, like people have to let you go. Like if you wanna make the left there and you're on the bike, you have to take the lane to make the left. And then you've got all the oncoming traffic that's coming up from like the Park Street. And they've just had a light, so they don't wanna stop and it's up to them to stop. So it could be a really tough place to make a left. Like obviously supportive of the raised intersection there, but then just still concerned about that movement. There isn't like a solution that we
Maybe the crosswalk was slightly wider to the end of the street.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll second that, Lena. I even did that tonight with a kid in the back. It is a really hard left. And I know that
Yeah.
traffic calming coming the other way will hopefully help.
And it's up
Um,
a hill.
but it's that left, getting into the lane, taking that lane, merging, and then it's that incoming traffic that I nearly got hit by.
Yeah,
a car
they
even
have
just
to let
tonight.
you.
Yeah.
You have to be like.
This picture is actually a pretty good example.
Mm,
The
Yeah,
bus and oncoming traffic and traffic wants to move over and you have to move over to the left.
so I don't know if like the raised crosswalk, like will. I don't know how that would impact, like, make it better or worse to make that,
So maybe
get over the hump and
the consideration here is,
you make like
a way to make a better left turn and make this left turn more comfortable on Central Street.
Yeah.
Given that this is now-
Like, it's across, not diagonal.
So, yeah, for me at least, like, I'm definitely optimistic about the raised crosswalk, even if it's not a full raised table. I'm pretty optimistic about that, calming traffic and making it somewhat easier to make this turn. Beyond that, frankly, I didn't really have specific ideas, but hearing a couple other places, I think we at least wanted to flag, the challenge of the unsignalized left turn. If anyone has ideas, we'll hear.
Yeah, I think it's actually, and I don't know if it's in the final plan, but I think in one of my bigger issue is actually the cars that are coming down Park fast left, chugging to that corner and then taking a fast right. I find those are actually the most aggressive drivers because I go through that intersection every day. And I don't know if it's in the final plan, but I believe there's gonna be some traffic calming to make that right actually harder. And I think that will also help a lot because it's the car slowing, because the raised crosswalk, I don't know if it's in the same place. It's actually not gonna help it. It's how fast they're going when you're cutting exactly in this direction. Slowing them down before they get to this intersection, I think is the really key piece because you're coming exactly across that when either they're gunning into that right. And I think there was supposed to be some traffic calming right at the bottom where that Google sign is. Well, I moved it for the cars, but I don't know if it's in the
Little
final design.
Yeah, like it's like a tiny island.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that will actually help a lot because I think that's the really hard part.
I just shared in the chat the link to the construction plans for this intersection, so I don't know if it's helpful to pull that up, as part of this discussion.
Ooh, yeah, I think that,
I mean,
right.
Even when you're approaching it yourself to take a right there, I feel very boxed in by cars who are turning right onto Central. Like if you're trying to do that at the same time, they're like squeezing you. I'm not, and I don't know if making it a harder turn might not make that better. I don't know, but
It's a short distance for people to have made a turn and then make another. Yeah.
I think they run over the corner a lot.
Well, the new refuge islands is slow right turning vehicles will help.
But where does the bike lane intersect? Like, let's say you're
So this
coming
is the like,
on the other side, like, let's say you're going with the cars and you wanna turn right on Central. Where do you turn as a bike?
You turn
Yeah,
after the curb extension.
Randomly.
You turn after the curb extension.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna get so squeezed.
It's squeezed, but I feel like it's like being on a neighbor way.
Slowly.
Where everyone has to go slow, and that's just the the problem. I think one problem, maybe a question behind your question is you lose that momentum going up Central Street, which is big.
Yeah.
it's why we need a bike elevator.
So this project the design for this project has been finalized, so.
Okay.
At this stage, there are not likely to be any changes to what
This.
is shown here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
very,
this is
very nice of
separate.
you to tell us that. Tactful, very
Yeah.
tactful.
Yeah. This is, separate from our Cookville project.
And Greg, that bike lane just going away in the new one, right? With this
Sorry.
section,
Which bike?
the bike lane on Central. The plan is for that to go away, and it just becomes really one small lane.
I don't think that is part of this project. I'm not sure what the long-term plan is for that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, the new curb extension looks like it's cutting through the existing
Yeah,
one.
that's what I
Oh,
was
you mean
wondering
at
about,
the, like, at
cause it's on the right
entrance
side,
to the,
yeah.
I'm not making a judgment call, I'm asking for just for clarification, so we can kind of, in our own thought processes.
it appears as though at least around the bend, the entrance to Central Street, there will not be a bike lane, like
Yeah.
a marked bike lane connecting Somerville Ave to Central Street. At least in this diagram.
But it looks like it begins after the crosswalk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what is existing on Central Street, like beyond the crosswalk here, is there are not any changes included as part of this intersection project?
So my take is that this will not create huge problems here, because my experience, the problem is you have lots of cars queued up and many of them are turned into the bike lane, blocking it, like a queue of them. And this makes it so they're kind of can't do that anymore, and there's really only one that can only ever block you.
Hmm. Yeah.
You do lose the momentum if you're trying to get up Central, which is not trivial to get up because it is fairly steep, but
It's more tolerable than the old street, I think.
Yes, it is, it's more, you're
Not
right.
that that's saying much, but.
I know, everyone will go slow. You'll be going up the hill slowly with someone behind you, and it'll be chill.
While we're on this slide, I wanted to actually move to the next, thing we flagged, that's all right.
Close by.
Which is actually shown pretty well on this
Yeah.
slide. So kind of the existing condition going eastbound, into Park Street is the bike lane, is to the left of a right turn lane onto Park Street southbound. So I assume the city would already be thinking about this, but, just to reaffirm, would love to see the bike lane moved adjacent to the curb and be separated, from right turning traffic. We very much assume that's in the plans already, but, wanted to call that out.
It's already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you explain that once more?
So you can kind of see for eastbound traffic, the current layout, going from the curb, there's the right turn lane for cars, and then there's the bike lane going straight. Or for turning, I guess, and then there's the vehicular lane for, going straight eastbound.
Yep.
And the ask is to move the bike lane, or to swap the position of the bike lane and the right turn lane for cars. And have signal separation.
Got it.
Because right
Thank you.
now,
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
long area
exactly.
Cars get swap over at any point.
Thank you.
So yeah, I assume a new bike signal head is in the scope of this project, and I think the signal phasing at a T intersection like this usually works out that it's convenient to have those separate movements. One related issue that we had a harder time thinking of a good solution for, and I'm curious if people also think this is an important issue, is the movement of a bike going west on Somerville Ave, coming from Union toward the Porter, trying to turn left onto Park Street. There is the existing bike box / advanced stop line, which is for somebody going west here, the like little area ahead of the vehicular stop line, which as with other bike boxes, is fine if you get there, like at the right signal phase, but if there's already a green light, you're kind of out of luck with no clear option. So at some intersections, a good design would be to have like a 2-stage bike turn and like a bike turn box, like midway through the intersection. But here, at least it wasn't obvious, like where that would actually be with the existing layout, like if there's space for that. If there is, it would probably be kind of like the upper left space of the intersection here. But it's, yeah, I'm not sure exactly if there would be room there.
No, I mean, I know I'm just one voice, I'll say, and I go through the intersection every day. The cars are going pretty slow on your right-hand side. And we're going that direction. So if you miss the green arrow, I mean, I'm always doing this at 9 in the morning. It feels pretty safe just waiting in that bike box until you get that green light again.
Yeah.
And then that green arrow is a lovely protected left
Mhm.
that people respect. But again, I'm just one voice.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you, Kat. It feels pretty safe.
Yeah, I think a two-step would actually complicate it. And honestly, half the bikers just go on the walk signal anyways, but I know we're not supposed to say that. I try to actually respect this one.
Yeah, that's the useful perspective. I used to have a challenge here and honestly, since Washington Street became good for biking, I've mostly just taken that instead.
Yeah, and I think someone actually put it earlier. I actually think Laurel, coming out on Laurel is a bigger issue. And getting that or coming out of Properezi Way. That's actually where I have much more issues and seeing other people getting issues getting to Somerville Ave, not that intersection going in that direction.
That's like next on the list.
That's a nice segue. Actually, I did one other thing at this intersection that I think it would be pretty simple. Some folks had flagged Cambria Hotel and the bike lane next to it is a frequently blocked bike lane in its current form. So they're just flagging, noting that that is frequently blocked and suggesting very tightly spaced flex posts or other protection there. But then, yeah, after that, next thing you flagged was Laurel Street and Property Way, and a kind of similar challenges of the unsignalized left turns from there onto Somerville Ave.
Let's go. This is the worst. I go through it all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, before the hotel was there.
Yeah, this is an old,
Vintage.
yeah, that is the hotel.
Yeah.
So hey, it's better than the Julie barriers.
Well, yeah. Help me get to the bike kitchen.
All right. Anyways, this is for Pretty Way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can someone repeat the comment about Preparesy Way?
Yeah, the comment was about the challenge of making a left turn off of Bursey Way onto Somerville Ave. So going north on Bursey Way, left turn onto Somerville Ave to go westbound.
It is terrifying. It is
Yeah,
absolutely
do it a lot,
terrifying.
and yeah, usually someone lets you in and then you go, like that's
Yeah.
how it kind of ends up going
It
down.
always
which is
feels like
fine.
a Jesus take the wheel moment when I do that move.
Yeah, yeah.
Take the handlebars. This one, for me at least, I didn't have any specific ideas of what to do here. Folks do love to hear it, but you know, I figure on half of these we give specific ideas for the city. Half the time we just flag the issue, let them figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Oh, please, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
My only solution was signalizing it, and I guess this is also tied up like when this all, and this might be a longer term solution, recognizing this entire block is going to get rebuilt as part of Summer Nova. It's probably the appropriate time to signalize or do something there, especially if we want to encourage bikers. But it's really hard.
Or mini roundabout.
Yeah.
That would be something. I was just gonna say, just like, I think throughout, just making sure the sight lines are as good as possible too, at these intersections.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good answer here other than major development.
And then we get to Market Basket, which obviously that is like, it's like the car wash, but there is an in and out and
Yeah,
more traffic than the car wash. Yeah, it's like,
yeah. So I think largely just
So-
generally flagging the very
Yeah.
high volume signalized driveways entering and exiting Market Basket.
Do people have issues there? I've never had an issue there, but I'm curious how others feel about it.
definitely, so I live based on Church and Lake, and I always have issues there.
So are the entrances and the exits to the parking lot above? Did they have like a, do the Market Basket entrance and exits have like a speed bump? Like,
Speed
do they
bump,
have to
kind of
like
raise
mount?
the sidewalk level
Yeah.
as you enter.
I feel like sometimes I feel like people like have to accelerate out to get over the hump, but that puts them really close into the bike lane.
So the
Yeah, like they
the
kind of
worst
merge over.
the worst conflict I see here is car in so in this picture, the truck here taking a left turn into Market Basket. It gets it gets past the bike lane. I mean, gets past the cars that are turning and hits a cyclist, or almost does, because oftentimes don't have trying to negotiate that 2-lane turn is very hard because it's just lots of traffic here. And I don't know how to solve this any better than trying to just narrow the driveway.
I was gonna say it like flares out. It's like an apron that flares
And
out.
it kind of needs to flare out because the large trucks there at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. need that space to be able to turn in to do the unloading and loading, like the 16-wheelers that are there at that time, if you've ever been there. And so maybe they could do a tighter one, maybe not. Kind of have to.
I was gonna say we need smaller delivery vehicles. We need it.
Or the deep sea market basket. Wednesday before
Too
Thanksgiving.
big.
We'd also flag, just kind of making sure there's very good sight lines there. I think on the entrance it's less of an issue, but, at the exit, there's currently parking
Yeah.
pretty close to the exit. To make sure there's good, like, clear corner visibility there.
Yeah, that's less of a problem here. Is a bigger problem up the street.
Yeah.
We made our way all the way down to Bow Street, yeah.
Yeah,
Then, the last area we flagged, we could advance to Bow Street at the very end. So right as Bow Street meets Somerville Ave, the issue we mentioned was where the protected bike lane on Bow Street ends. And transitions into what is currently the door zone bike lane on Somerville Ave. It's kind of a sharp angle right now, and kind of especially after the protected bike lane went on Bow Street. We've sometimes seen the car parked kind of right in the first parking space there. As it stops being protected, that like encroaches at all, like you have very little room to maneuver into the bike lane. You can aim to the left a little bit. Coming from Bow Street there. And as a, actually, the overhead angle might kind of show it more clearly, the satellite view. So right now it's actually parklet there in that closest parking space. And my perspective at least is that while the parklet is there, it's kind of much better. The parklet is there, it's in the legal area, it's not encroaching any further. But when it has been a parking space, very often like a larger vehicle encroaching there is an issue. So we're thinking about, I don't know, just ensuring a smooth transition from the Bow Street bike lane into the new protected bike lane. If there is a parking space there, possibly restricting it. If there is the outdoor dining there, that seems to work fine in its current form.
Yeah, the outdoor dining at Hot Tomatoes, I think, is going to be the challenge here. Because it's a anything around curves is always dicey if there's no protection. And so what's the solution? Do we put the dining out next to the curb, next to the curve where cars are going? Does the bike lane go there? I like neither solution.
I know on Holland Street, at least the was planned, I don't remember if it was actually implemented, was for it to kind of swap seasonally. So when it is outdoor dining, it would be next to the curb. When it reverts to regular cars, then that would be floating parking.
Yes, but my experience on the top of Holland at Teal Square is that it's seen when it's when it's done work done, it's the bike lane just becomes a mixing zone. There is no, it just gets taken over by the construction of the parklet. And I'm worried we're going to see a similar story here.
I think that's what we had,
Yeah,
and we came back the other direction. We did come back, but yes, that was from our little sojourn, down Somerville Ave. And again, so in terms of like capturing this again is like, this is not final comments, right? It doesn't have to be. Can we like
One of my favorite
tidy
treatments.
it up?
Oh,
and
go ahead,
then-
Lena. Sorry.
Sorry,
Why don't we ask the city what they're?
yeah.
I would suggest that. If the committee is interested in sharing feedback, and it sounds like you have a lot of good feedback, so we definitely would be interested in, having. A cleaned up, formalized version of the comments, I think, yeah, I would definitely suggest sending that to us if you feel like you have points that the committee can agree upon now, design for. This project is probably gonna get started in the fall, so. The sooner that you're able to share comments, the sooner that we can. Consider those as we're starting the design. So I don't think that it is necessarily critical if you don't feel like you have a consensus at this meeting on comments, but if you do, then I would say we can take that vote now.
my suggestion, if you're comfortable, would be to kind of take that vote to endorse these
Yeah.
decisions overall.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Clean them
take-
up as needed.
Okay, good. Okay, then, yeah, so it looks like we ended up with a lot of good observations, good feedback, and overall, we, support it, and look forward to it. So, if I can make a motion to endorse, our comments from tonight, with the intention of, formalizing them and submitting them to mobility.
Seconded.
Okay, I can make a motion. Can I get a second?
Not just second.
Yeah, you made a.
Oh, I made the
motion?
You made a motion,
Yeah.
Pat seconded.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, now we do, everyone say aye, yeah, or make your vote no.
I,
I,
Excellent, cool, yeah. So we will tidy it up. Thanks for everyone who came out to the ride. That was really fun. We definitely want to do that for other, projects that are coming up. And so it looks like, unless there's any public comment on any of this, I do not see. We do have another attendee, if anyone. Has
Are we
any
discussing the
comment.
Mystic River?
Were we going to try for the Mystic? The Mystic Bike Bridge, I do not know any, I mean, like, the last I heard is that it's something that's largely MassDOT and they have given a presentation, but, it just keeps getting punted, but if no one has like, we certainly don't have anything as important and specific as we did for Somerville Ave. So if we do wanna just skip to the city update, and we can.
Sure. Yeah, I think there will be future opportunities to weigh in on the bike ped bridge, because that is still early in the process.
I guess we're very excited.
I'm gonna take the screen share. Everybody seeing the slides?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we've got, some upcoming events. The next couple of months. We talked about the Gilman Square Arts and Music Fest, it's the same date as the River Fest. You know, there have been some conversations about the farmers market. I don't know if there's any more information to talk about there.
Yeah, we're confirmed for October 4th. Just also wanted to, maybe in the next meeting, get more of an idea of what your, I mean, kind of like a plan for who's hoping to staff, who's gonna be there. PTAC unfortunately did not get their date, because of Union Square Main Street's kind of restricting community tables with the construction happening. So they are hoping to join in as well, so it'll be both y'all and PTAC there, so I just wanna kind of be the middleman to see how many people are gonna be at the table at the same time, so maybe next month we can talk about that, but we're gonna go for October 4th.
Is Monster Mash, is that also a potential tabling opportunity?
Yeah, I just put it up there, it's another one that mobility team will be at, so if you wanna join us or wanna reach out and, have your own SBC table, that's another one that, we usually do. These are the events for the next 2 months that we'll be at for sure.
Sorry, I just have a question. You said on Union Square, it says coordinate with PTAC. Aren't they, we coordinated with them, correct? Because they already are going to be at a different date?
Yeah, sorry, there is construction going on in Union Square, is it 90 Union Square, the, old building, so because of that, Union Square Main Streets has been restricting the number of tables they have at the farmers market. So unfortunately, the date that PTAC was supposed to go, which was supposed to be in August, they did not get that date. So I just wanted to put it out there that they would be interested in joining the October 4th date that we've been confirmed for.
Okay,
So I just wanted to see if all of us could kind of see how we could work together to have both the committees at the table.
okay. Will you coordinate that, or do you want me to coordinate that?
No, I'm happy to coordinate that, maybe next month, just getting to know more of like how many people from SBC will be there, so that I can like PTAC know, so that there's not like 5 people at the table at one time, we can
Okay, sounds
kind of
good.
stagger and see.
All right, thanks.
And Kat just posted in the chat, that it sounds like you had reached out about the Monster Mash and they said.
After
that
the yard
signage will
fair.
open After yard festival. Okay. Cool, and then this photo is from, a recent, walk audit that some, city staff did with, some of the teams from Brownwood, Somerville, that, I think Rishka, you've been involved in some of the workshops, and it sounds like those have been pretty cool.
Yeah, we've been doing some safe streets workshops with the Groundwork Somerville Summer Green Team over the last few weeks, so it's been really fun to show them projects and then also do some designing and things like that, which has been exciting, so we like to do these every summer, so next year, if there's something that you want to work with the teams on, we could definitely get everyone together, so yeah.
All right, I'm gonna run through some quick project updates. We don't have too many major updates for this month. For the most part, same as last month for our quick build project. So we discussed Middlesex Ave previously. That's still, final designs in the works, expected installation later this year. And Beacon design is still ongoing. and Somerville Ave, which we have been discussing. We wrapped up the initial issue identification engagement phase and are reviewing all of the community feedback and will, in the fall, be starting our initial design development based on all the feedback that we've heard. On our Complete Streets project, so there was a question last time about Western Washington Street and if we could share any updates on the precast concrete curb installation. So the city has secured a contractor for that, for them to install precast concrete curbs this year. And once a construction schedule has been made available from the contractor, then we'll be able to share an update on more specific timing for that installation. Tossin West Broadway, both of those projects are still in scheduling for construction for this year. But still expect construction for those to begin later in 2025. Western Pearl, working on the updated design, which we're expecting to come out this fall, which will be followed by another round of community engagement and review by the committee. Our last slide are our larger infrastructure projects. So Spring Hill, substantially complete, still in kind of the last, what we call punch list item phase. But this photo is showing the contractor bringing that cycle track on Lower Summer Street to final grade. So for the most part, all of the major infrastructure elements of that project are complete. And then we've just got some bullets for our state managed projects, which no major updates there. On the Mystic River Bike Ped Bridge, if you were interested in viewing the meeting that happened in June, that recording is now available online. And they are expecting to release an updated 25% design in the fall. So we'll certainly have an opportunity to weigh in on that when that comes out.
We've got a lot of love in the chat for Summer Street. Loves that.
Yeah, we're very excited for the Spring Hill project to be coming to its conclusion.
Wonderful.
And that is all that we have for today. Any questions?
Yeah. We're none. It sounds like we're at 5 after 8, so I would call this a successful meeting. And it was great to hear from everybody. And I hope you continue to enjoy the rest of the summer. So with that, we can sign off for the month. Cheers.
So everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.